Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me here today with another great edition of Strategy Talk interviews. I'm joined today by with Nili. Nili, thank you for agreeing to interview with me.
My pleasure.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so now I'm just gonna read a quick bio about Nili, and then we're gonna get right into learning more about him. Okay, so Nili is an old school AoE player since the early days when the game first came out. He's one of the earliest casters in the AoE scene as well, having casted ancient events such as the Maldives. He has been a full-time AoE streamer for at least the last 3 years, having been a primary school teacher prior to that. He is a team member of GL, formerly known as Secret, and one of the top AoE players in the entire world. He is known for coaching weaker players, and he is a German player and regularly streams in his native Germanic language for the German speaking AoE community. He's also a professional poker player, I believe pro or semi pro. Nili is one of AoE2's most prolific casters and tournament organizers, having hosted the Nili's Apartment Cup series, as well as smaller series such as Clash of Hippos, which is seen by some as the precursor to the Red Bull Wololo. Nili has been instrumental in that Red Bull Wololo tournament series as well, which is now one of AoE's highest profile events. So that is Nili. Nili, what do you think of that bio that I kind of pieced together from talking to some of your fans in the Hippo community?
You should edit my Wikipedia
Oh yeah, I
and
listen.
add something up.
We were on there 10 minutes ago while we were waiting for you. There were some things on there, man. I was like, does Nili really want me to say some of these things? I was like too scared to put in some of that. So it's a we'll go with what the fans had to say. So as they say, you are one of AoE's most recognized figures, and I think a very instrumental community figure helping to keep the game, the community, the esports, alive. I think that's very commendable. So I want to dive right in. You're one of AoE2's oldest players. How did you get started playing AoE?
Mm,
If you can even
it
remember that long
was,
ago.
I think, the fourth birthday of one of my classmates. Had to be in like 97. And I was in my anno phase, another like medieval or after a medieval, um, basically build up games. And then on one birthday, someone said we got a new game, which is even better, and I couldn't believe it even. And then they showed me Age of Empires One, and I was just blown away. And yeah, then played Age of Empires One, and after Age of Empires Two came out, I instantly bought it and instantly jumped on AOC as well. So yeah, I was always a fan of RTS. Played Settlers before 2 and 3. Yeah,
How old were you when you started playing Age of Empires 1?
I would say like 9 years old.
9 years old. Wow, that's amazing.
Something like that. Yeah, like I'm born 88, and I think I played it in 97. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Age of Empires for you has really been a lifelong passion then, something that's been with you for decades
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. In
Yeah.
in 6 weeks or something, I will be at a wedding with a friend that I played Age of Empires with in
Oh,
like 2000 and 2001, of one of my classmates.
okay.
So yeah, some deep connections.
That's amazing. And when did you get into the Age of Empires community?
Basically from then, right? I joined my first clan in like 2000, 2001 or something. And then there was like the first summer that I didn't continue to travel with my parents, because like my parents traveled a lot, and then I kind of grew out of it. I had to be like
Right.
summer of 2003 or 2002, and I just played 12 hours a day for 6.5 weeks straight with Elklan Bender in the past. And then I kind of jumped into the German scene with that step.
Okay. And w were you like, what other games have you played along the years? Is it that Age of Empires has just been like the main video game focus for you, or have you like forayed into other video games?
Probably the game I played second most is Counter-Strike 1.6. I
Oh.
probably played that one. I would think like 3,000 hours, something in that ballpark. Um, yeah, but then like games with friends, like some FIFA. I played like 300 games of Warcraft 3, and that's kind of it. I think I don't have too many games that I played that much. At least not in the last 15 years or 20 years. Yeah, maybe when I was a kid, like I have maybe 1,000 hours in Pokemon as well, but obviously didn't touch
Yeah.
that one after I turned 12.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we all used to grind at Pokemon, so that's no surprise there. Um, okay. And what has been your experience in Clansman? Like, because well, we know you're part of GL now, but
Mm.
I want to hear some of the your early experiences in like the early days of AOE Clan. What was the clan life back then?
Oh, that was very different, right? It was more like a group of friends trying to be together, and like you had to do applications to join a clan, and then you have to say like, okay, this one is that's my strengths, and
Oh wow.
I'm a good behavior. And I remember one of my applications,
Yeah.
I wrote, I can build any unit endlessly after minute 45.
So,
Yeah.
okay,
And
that used to be a
there, I
strength
wasn't
back in the
even I
day.
wasn't even sure. I wasn't even sure if that was I was stretching it a bit,
Okay.
but yeah, I thought I could get there.
Yeah. So I'm taking it that in the earlier days, being in a clan wasn't necessarily about being like pro or in with the top 1% of players, just about
No,
hanging
no.
around and
There
having
were,
fun.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. There were so many clans. It was ridiculous. Like there were some clans, like the most famous clan, L clan, had over 300 members. The old clan of Memb had around 200 members as well. So they were massive. The clans that I was in, like DM had 40 members, DRDK had like 15 members, and then Tsunami, the clan that I stayed with for like 15
Yeah.
years, then had like a core of, I would say, six, and like maybe 15 in total.
Are they still around? Your old Tsunami clan.
Yeah, like I was at one of my friends on Wednesday. I
Oh,
visited
nice.
him. Still in, yeah, good friends.
Okay, that's good. AOE and these communities really bringing people together. I love to see it. And all right. And when did you really start to like turn AoE and like go pro in AoE and start to take it a bit more seriously?
That was that summer. I basically made the jump from like 1750 to like 2K in 6 weeks there. Simply playing every day 12 hours and being kind of like a top 5 player in the world, basically telling me what I should do, or maybe top 15 player in the world. And then I basically joined Tsunami and thought about it for a long time,
Right.
because I knew school would be tricky if I would fully commit and join
Mm,
like the best German clan kind of.
okay.
Like there were two top clans at that time.
This was around like the mid 2000s.
No, no, no. Before that, I would
Oh
say
wow.
2003. I joined them.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah,
even from back then you were always a top AoE player at the head
yeah.
of the
Like,
scene. That's
let me see. WCL4 maybe should have been like my breakthrough performance.
all right.
Let me see if that was the case. Yeah, WCL4. Well, and that was in 2005 till 2006. And I already played for them before that as well, where we got like third in the World Championship, and even beating Doubt's team in the semifinal.
Oh. Okay, so you have a lot of tournament experience then, just even playing in tournaments, because you were playing in tournaments since like 2003. I can
Yeah,
imagine
yeah,
probably
yeah,
dozens
yeah,
of
kind of.
tournaments. Yeah. Do you have any
Yeah.
standout tournaments from the old days?
That was like my biggest achievement of all time, right? The
Oh,
semifinal win there. Yeah.
okay.
And Dowd like had like a top team form. They I think got salary even back then. And yeah, that was a major win for us. We kind of invented slinging in that tournament.
Oh,
And that was like, although we were way worse, that made a lot of stuff happen for us.
okay. So, I mean, we're hearing it here, folks. Nili invented slinging. Okay. We're officially
Like
putting
our
that out
team made
there.
it popular. I think El Bender was the guy
Right.
telling it to us a bit, and then Thug and Sue were basically the two teams that used it that WCL and basically had huge performances then.
Okay, yeah, that's excellent. Um, so in your opinion, I mean, I kind of want to ask you, I wasn't around back then. Like, what was the difference to the game, playing the game then to now? No sort of a broad question, but like, what would you tell to a new player like me? Like, how was it?
Well, we had fewer civilizations, right? We had only 18.
I heard
We
about that.
had tournament games with 5,000 ping.
What
We
the?
had, well, if you played Chinese players, that was pretty standard. Like, you honestly, like, you basically always did loom to get a boar. You shot the boar, and, or before the first shot, you already clicked the villager back. She shot twice, took like 3 hits, maybe 4 hits from the boar, and then you try to run to the TC. So, like, loom was like the instant thing.
You're blowing my
Um,
mind here, Nelly. This means gospel OP then. They gotta be OP. They got that
they
fast
didn't
loom,
get
right?
that in the past.
Ah, I
No,
didn't get it. Okay,
no,
okay.
that's really new. Yeah. Other EOP civilizations, for example, like in the very, very old days, were
Yeah.
Teutons. They had +3 range from town centers, so everyone was town center rushing.
Oh, were they the original
Um,
Persians?
Teutons. Yeah, but yeah, no, you did Castle Age,
Oh,
uh,
okay, Castle Age.
town center rush. Then Scorpions were completely broken because they benefited from Fletching, Bodkin, and Bracer.
Right.
So +3 range, +3 attack. Bomber towers were still doing melee damage, so Rams couldn't kill them. Yeah, there was so many crazy things. Luckily, we fixed some of them.
Yeah. And eh, like, do you have like do you feel like nostalgia for the old days of AoE 2, or are you sort of, you're fine with how the game is now? Or do you think back, back in the 18 Civ days, those were the real golden era, the 5,000
No.
ping and the pre-ball
I think
loot.
it's not the golden era, but yeah, I have a series on my YouTube, right? AOE2 history, where I'll go over some of those games, and it was special to me, right? The
Right.
first time ever I see someone going scouts and archers, and like, boo, completely blew my mind. Like, that makes so much sense. You use your gold for archers and the food for scouts. And suddenly he wins the biggest tournament at that time.
Okay, okay. So it sounds like it was like really a time where somebody could just show up with something new, and you'd be the first time you could see it in a tournament. Unlike today, where we sort of min-max the whole game and we kind of know how everything works until they introduce the new civs, of course.
Sorry, I was distracted for a second.
No, it's
Sorry.
fine. I was just saying that it sounds a bit more experimental back then as opposed to now where everything is sort of min-maxed. You could just go on Google and find every little strategy, every little tip.
Yeah.
No secrets left to
Um,
discover.
it's completely different, right? Because there was no streaming,
Right.
and also like the top players ticked recorded games off. So if you played against Coven, you never saw a recorded game of him, and you had no idea. Like you played him 1v1, and you had no idea how you lost. And that was brutal. Even in training games, if you trained with him for tournaments, they still took recorded game off. That's
Wow.
crazy.
Wow, that's really cool. Well, well, it's just how it is. We have different eras of AoE. Back then had its strengths. Now has its strengths. And I kind of want to talk about Nili as a streamer. So right now you sit at 65,000 followers on Twitch and
They're not 66.
is it Oh,
No, 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 yeah.
66. My bad. It's yeah, it's
No, no,
yeah.
no, no, all good, all good.
So our boy Nelly is at the 65.9999
Oh,
thousand
really?
followers on
Really?
Twitch. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Uh,
33,000 on YouTube. So this makes you, that not only the top 1% of AOE streamers, you're also in the top 1% of Twitch streamers, I believe. So
very,
you're
very likely, yeah.
really, yeah, so you're really a man at the top of your craft in many disciplines. But I do like to ask, all the streamers I speak to, as a small streamer myself, just how does it feel, just to, have that success and be able to cultivate, that community like that for yourself.
The success is something I probably take as a given. It feels so weird, but in my life, everything I touched, I always try to dedicate everything into it, right?
Right,
Um, it's like I was elite in poker. I was really good in Age of Empires playing, and when I started streaming, like obviously I had a past way in the back. Like my first cast was in like 2004 or something,
right.
and then I was one of the first one in Justin TV, and so I don't feel like, oh, I'm the 1%, and like I don't feel that special in that regard. No.
Okay. Okay, okay. And what do you have like what are your plans for your streaming career? Do you have like it mapped out? Do you just kind of go with the flow?
Hmm. I don't really know. I think it heavily depends on how Age of Empires 4 is going to be and how much
Right,
it will divide the community, how well I will proceed with my own progress, right? If I'm stagnating like I am, then it feels like I will go more into casting again. If
right.
I get booked by events, which is
Hmm.
not impossible, then my own channel will obviously suffer.
Right.
And like if Age of Empires is growing like it is, I don't think it is
Yeah,
unlikely that we will have like 20 offline events in like 2 years. So then obviously my own channel will heavily suffer because I'm constantly traveling and casting
right, right.
somewhere. Yeah, so it is very vague. Yeah.
Okay. Well, casting is pretty big in esports. And every year esports just grows more and more. Do you ever see yourself sort of making a transition into just nearly professional esports caster, or you kind of just always just want to fit yourself in Age of Empires?
Like only casting would kind of kill what I'm doing and what I'm good at, right?
Right.
Because I think my main strength is that I have such a deep understanding of the game and that I can analyze the situations, that I can predict what's happening and can basically explain why pro players are going for what they are doing, or
Yeah.
at least I can attempt to. And if I completely stop playing, especially if I completely stop playing, like let's say at the top 500 level, then I would lose that. And that's not the caster that I am right now. Then I would turn into like more of a play-by-play caster.
Okay. So you sort of do see yourself as an Age of Empires 2 guy, and you want to sort of um so you've been playing this game since you were 9 years old, and now it's part of your career. Are you gonna do this up to retirement? Is that a question you've even asked yourself yet?
Yeah, I get that often, right? There are still like different options. The thing is, I could do so many things in my life. I think at one point I will go back to teaching again.
Okay.
But right now, like every single day is enjoyable for me, and every single day I'm like excited. Like, oh God, what am I doing? Am I training? Am I casting something? Am I preparing something? Am I organizing something in the Age of Empires world? And I'm so involved and enjoying it so much that I think I will continue doing it for, let's say, at least a year more.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, you're gonna be making those career moves very soon. Well, that's good to hear. Um, I sort of wanted to ask you about. Nili the tournament player. There was, as you mentioned Wikipedia, there was this weird bit in your trivia here. It says, after failing to qualify for Hidden Cup 3, Nili took a break from streaming for 1 month, which I thought was a pretty strange thing to add in there. What are your current thoughts about Nili the tournament player?
I think that is wrong actually. Because wasn't that last March? I think so, right? I wanted to take a break anyways, and it just lined up perfectly with
Okay,
me. Not most of the time, I take breaks during Hidden Cup
right.
because everything is focused on Hidden Cup. I myself am not getting as excited as T90 is for Hidden Cup and like the guessing game because I think, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and therefore that's like the year before I also took a month break
right.
during March. It's simply like I did NAC, then I did FCC, like Fair Civ Cup, and I felt a bit burned out and wanted to travel.
Okay.
So yeah, it was
We
not like, oh no, I lost Hidden Cup qualifier, I'm
right,
so
right.
so sad. Obviously I wanted to qualify, but
Yeah.
took my, like I thought I had no chance, especially with that bracket.
So we gotta talk to the Wikipedia people. They're putting all misinformation out here. We can't have that stand. Um,
Well, it may like I did not qualify and then I took a break. That's still right. Yeah.
okay. And I mean, I got some more questions here about Age of Empires. Do you have like what's your play style? What would you describe your play style as?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I get that often, and sometimes people on my stream stop by and say, "Nearly, you're playing way too aggressively." And then another day, people stop by and nearly you always lose because you play way too passively. So I don't really have one. It's
Okay.
obviously not like hyper micro oriented.
Right.
And in the past, I would say, like, let's say 2 years ago, I tried to outsmart my opponent. And it was always like I'm playing Franks and going sneaky archers. Or I go add stacks into like off meta strategies, right? Like long, what would I do? Like skirms to counter his crossbows or
Right.
something weird. And I always try to do that. And only with Hera coaching, I think I changed my play style a bit there and try to play more meta.
Okay, okay. So you were trying to go for the big cerebral plays. Okay.
I don't know
A-
what the word means. Suribo?
oh, it's like brainy, like you're trying to outsmart.
Ah,
It's
yeah,
another
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
I went for a lot of big brain plays that actually
yeah.
didn't work out too well. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have like all the noobs, they always want to know what the training is, what's your training secret? So I know all
My
my new players
training
out there.
secret?
Yeah, what's the give us the sauce here, Nilly.
I think playing a lot is like the best stuff that will people tell you, right? My training is very public, right? I
Right.
have the doc file where I say those are my strengths, those are my weaknesses. That's what I try to do in the that week, and every non-specific tournament practice is on my stream.
Right.
So there's like I'm probably one of the least secret people when it comes to training.
So are you telling me I actually just have to work hard if I want to get better at the game, Nilly? Is that what you're saying?
I think if you
Uh-huh.
do the same things that I do, you will increase heavily in skill. Yeah, so that's what I
Yeah.
think I did as well. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I was hoping there was a secret, but once again, noobs, all the pros are confirming you just have to work hard, and that's how you get better at the game. So thank you for that, Nilly.
In some form, that's true. Yeah, I would think
Okay.
so.
And I want to get into some of your opinions on Age of Empires as a game, as a franchise as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, so okay, well first of all, we mentioned Age of Empires 4, it's gonna be very important for your decision as an Age of Empires streamer. What are your initial thoughts about Age of Empires 4? Excited for it? Do you secretly hope it's gonna fail? You
Well,
secretly hope you can move
after it was
on.
announced, I obviously Craigismed, right? That Microsoft is still willing to put more money into the game.
Yeah,
I don't know much about Relic, so that's simply something that I didn't really know a lot of. And then I started to play the alpha, and it didn't really feel like an esport at that time, but it felt like they really listened a lot to the feedback.
right.
And I obviously signed an NDA, so I can't talk too much about it.
Okay.
I think simply the implication of having a new game is very, very promising for me, right? We could see lots of
Yes.
new tournaments, lots of new sponsors jumping on it. And I don't see what a lot of people are fearing, Age of Empires completely crumbling and going down. I think the worst that could happen to Age of Empires is like if it gets to like 50% of what it is now. I think that's
Okay.
the absolute worst I could imagine.
Yeah. So you don't have any fears about the franchise as a whole. You're pretty much confident that we're gonna. Okay, that's good. And what do you think the fate of Age of Empires 2 will be?
As I said, like lots of people are scared and they're saying, okay, Age of Empires 2 will die, but remember that after DE came out, HD and Woobly had their highest player numbers ever.
Okay.
DE is growing, so I
Right.
think I think it will be like roughly around what it is now for
Right.
the next 2 years, I would think. H2,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. We appreciate that sort of confidence in the community and the franchise. We need some more of that attitude around here. Um, and well, you mentioned that you were on the inside of the Age of Empires 4 alpha. So without um getting yourself a court sentence, what has that experience been like? Without destroying the
Well,
NDA, just
well,
kind of
first of
take
all,
it.
it's good they're asking for pros, right?
Right,
And that
yes.
they're asking effective input, and like we had to fill out endless surveys. Like I would think after every they called flights, like okay, we will give you the first alpha, and then you
Right.
play for could play like for 2 weeks. I most of the time played like 3 4 hours or something, and then you could fill out like an hour of survey. What did you like?
Oof,
How did you like how the ship moved? How did you like how the ship cost? How did you like the
Jesus.
attack animation? How did you like? And there was so specific. And like, how did you like the walling mechanic? Did you feel like the villager was moving well after the wall finished and such? So they were very specific, and like I felt very hurt and they were very interested to get our feedback, and that's a really good sign, I believe.
Okay. All right, well, that's excellent. That's good to hear the devs over at Relic earned that. So Nelly, you have been a deathmatch player, right? I believe you're
I think people see me more of a deathmatch player than I am, but yeah, I played a fair share of deathmatch, yeah.
um how do you feel about the DM change in the ladder, replacing DM with Empire Wars?
Let's say next question.
Okay, okay, all right. So we're not gonna talk about that today. Um, your community, the community you have, the hippo lovers, I believe that's what we call them.
We can, yeah.
In my mind, the phrase "What's up, hippo lovers" is kind of engraved into my brain. Anytime I see your icon, that phrase literally just plays in my mind. How did
Okay, okay.
you come up with like the name, the community name, and all that with the hippo stuff?
Well, the city that I was living in was Berlin, and my mother had to create a nickname for me, and obviously so that no one knows who I am, because the internet is full of rapists and pedophiles, and therefore she
Okay.
made a nickname, Berlin Backwards, which was Neil Rap underscore one. The password was her first name underscore plus my school number, so impossible to guess. And from Neil Rap, that's pretty close to Nilpferd, which is the German word for hippo. So I didn't really
Okay.
choose the hippo, like it randomly appeared there.
Okay, so it was serendipity. It came from the stars then. That's a
I
cool
love,
origin
yeah,
story.
yeah.
And the name Nili, is that related to The German word for hippo as well?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's Nilpferd. That's basically
Right.
like horse of the River Nile. That's
Okay.
how like
Okay.
German language works, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Um, all right. Well, I have some one or two more AOE questions here. Like, how do you feel about the wall meta that we have? I mean, you either play in arena or you play in Arabia, where most people just wall it up like it's arena. Do you have any specific thoughts on that, or it's neither here nor there for
Mm,
you?
well, maps need to be better. We need to have
Right.
Land Madness. We need to have something like Northern Isles where you couldn't wall. We should have something like Haboob where you can't wall. Something like Atacama. Right? There's so many good maps, and the problem is simply that those unwallable two action heavy maps aren't great for newcomers, and
Right.
obviously that hinders the growth of the game. Remember when
Right.
HD came out? Funny story. Map size in 1v1 was 3 player, so that you couldn't rush that easily.
Oh.
They wanted longer distance because new players got slaughtered in 12, 13 minutes by like Man at Arm Rush, even on map size 3. And then the feedback was we are dying too quickly. And after the first patch, map size 4 was standard for 1v1
Jesus.
in HD. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why I think they want to have more maps that are kind of wallable, especially
Right.
like for newcomers. I think for the tournament scene, we have to do a better job. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's that's pretty interesting to me. I didn't know that even since back in the launch of HD, we had all these noobs complaining about dying too early.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, but I see you don't care about the noobs, Nili. You want the open game. You want to see us get slaughtered. Is that what you're saying, Nili? Enemy of the noobs.
Well, I think I love maps that offer both, right?
Right.
What's my be? I think Quarry, for example, is an interesting map. If you remember that one from Hidden Cup and Invisible Cup, you
Right.
can go for some wild feudal age aggression, but you can also play Castle Age. And I think Arabia, maybe KOTD Arabia was a better Arabia than the one we have now.
Okay. Okay. And so Hera, man after my own heart. He hates water maps. Love that
Mm-hmm.
guy. What are your opinion on water maps, Nelly?
Pure model maps are bad. Like Team Islands, like it's probably not that good. Islands is a bad map in my opinion. Baltic horrible. There's even the more weird map, Ancient Lake, worst map ever. Um, yeah, I think we have to have mixed maps. Something there was like a Team Island map where you had some shore water in between, for example.
Right.
Um, that was better.
Hmm.
Let me think about it. Something like Golden Swarm, for example,
Oh
something
yeah,
I like.
Golden
Some
Swamp is a
water mixed
banger.
in.
Yeah, that's a banger.
Four Lakes is nice. Maybe Cup. Cup was a good map, including water and land.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay. All
yeah.
right. So okay, good answer, Nelly. You're still on the Grand Franco
Whew.
friendly list.
Whew.
um, oh, and who are your AOE two friends? You've been around for so long,
Mhm.
and it seems like all of the top players are in some sort of club. Yeah. Who are your friends in the AOE two scene?
Ooh, have lots of them, right? Yeah. I think it's tough to say. Like, if you aren't around, I could give you like 20 names that you never heard of, especially like
Yeah,
from the old days, right?
I'm
Over
not
20
gonna
years,
know
I
that.
made lots of friends, right? Obviously, I like the GL boys a lot. That helps. And this is like every time I get asked, like, Nili, who are you cheering for in Red Bull? And out of the 16 people, I actually met like 13 and really liked them.
Oh, nice.
So something like that, right? I was like in so many meetups
Right.
and met so many people, and like especially with NICs so intensely
Yeah.
that yeah, that they really grew on me.
Okay, that's excellent. So, AOE 2 has really been like a friendship space for you, and meeting a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
people that
absolutely.
you enjoy the company of. Um, who in the AOE community would you actually like to meet though that you haven't met already?
Oi, 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 oi.
Ah.
Now I need to take a look into Age of Empires letter here. Who do I want
Okay.
to meet that I have not met?
Make sure it's above the top 100, To gotta look at those scrubs. Look at those scrubs below.
ACCM. ACCM.
Hey, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I
good
have
name.
not met him. Yeah, but
Was
I
he
think
my
he's such a cuddle bear.
yeah,
Oh,
he was my first guest, I think, on this interview series.
ACCM,
ACCM, yeah,
really?
my day one,
Oh,
yeah,
nice,
it's my day
nice,
one.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, it's a cool
Hmm.
guy. Excellent name to call out there. Are you acquainted with any of the non-German and English speaking AoE players? The Spanish players, the Chinese speaking players.
In what form?
Yeah, in a friendly manner, or have you only been able to connect with English and German players because of the language barriers?
Well, during NACs, I obviously met Mr. Yo. I've been in China, met lots of them. We've been in the
Okay, yeah.
Maldives, meeting the Chinese, Brazilian players. So I met a lot and a lot of
Oh,
people.
nice.
No, basically, no matter where they were from. Yeah,
Can you confirm something for me, Nelly? I heard Mr. Yo is like a big troll in real life.
a big troll.
Yeah, I hear
Mm,
he's in a fun way, in a fun, playful way.
yeah, yeah. Like I wouldn't say a big troll, but he has some sarcasm. Yeah, I
Oh,
think
he's sassy.
he's
He's
yeah,
sassy.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
okay.
would be like, especially like for Chinese, where I feel like they're so polite
Right,
and trying to please everyone.
right.
He is more of the outgoing kind of guy. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I want to talk to Mr. Yo someday. He sounds like so far, he sounds like the character in the AoE 2 scene. Yeah.
Mr. Yo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's the character. We have some character that would be overshadowing him.
Right.
Like Dowd
Who?
is in my books way more of a character than Mr. Yo. Um,
Okay.
yeah. But obviously Dowd is so much closer to us because he streams
Yeah.
on Twitch
Right,
while
right, of
Mr.
course.
Yo streams on Dojo, right? If Mr. Yo was streaming on Twitch, then we might love him even more.
Yeah. So that brings up an interesting topic I have now, the characters in the AoE 2 scene. So I know Doubt. I know about you. I know about Huang. I guess Huang would be considered another character because maybe Naburu? I don't know if Naburu is considered a character. Well, who are the characters in AoE 2 other than those people? Or did I just get
I
everyone there?
I don't think Noboru and Huang would be any characters in the scene. I think Dowd is like probably number one.
Right.
Mm, I think
Any of the
mm,
clowns?
um I think like it depends on how much you want to go into like drama and stuff, right? Then um we obviously have lots of people on AoE zone. Um MBL clearly is a character. Um, I think Viper is a guy that doesn't have that many like edges. I think
Right.
he is really happy if everyone around him is happy as well.
Right. Okay.
But while Doubt doesn't care at all.
Yeah, I heard some funny stories about Doubt. Oh, and like in the old days, you couldn't get him to sign up for tournaments. Or like he would just do it in the laziest ways possible and just like not talk to anyone. Yeah.
Well, that's not the old days, right? Just look up AoE Zone. John Slow had to sign him up because Doubt didn't want to bother filling it out for like
Oh
15
God.
seconds.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to that guy. If he will talk to me at all, that is. Okay. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned AoE zone. Normally I try to look up like what are the controversies that you know people I'm interviewing are involved in. I didn't get to do that for you this time. So I mean, I do want to ask you if you've been involved in any controversies. Of course, you could always just say no, and I wouldn't know any better.
Controversies, like
You know, like,
in what way? With
you know,
people
yeah,
or with my behavior?
difficult moments you've have in the community, maybe a misstep here, or maybe some miscommunications, or people giving you a hard time, or anything you just. Because when I was speaking with Debbie, she was able to give us some insight into some of the harassment she faced, as a player, as a female Twitch streamer, and female AOE
Mhm.
personality, even the experiences being connected to the Viper so closely and how that affected her.
Mhm.
Have you had anything like that in your experience, or it's been smooth
Okay.
sailing for Nili?
Okay, let's just. I will try to report as neutrally as possible, right? So,
Okay,
mm, NAC mass invites was controversial, like inviting most people, not qualifying.
right.
NAC 3 adding Hera last minute was controversial. Day 5 changing the Swiss stage pair ups was controversial. Not having Memp at NAC 3 was controversial. Making it close streaming was controversial. Giving doubt in admin loss against Winchester NAC 2 qualifier was controversial. Um, I was blamed for Memp not being at Red Bull 1, 2, 3.
Jeez, that seems unfair.
Um, what else? Um, my strong opinion that I think that laming should not be part in esport was controversial. Mm. Me joining Secret / Gamer Legion, although
Right.
I'm way worse than everyone else, was controversial. Me banning MB. Oh, no, me actually not banning, but no. Giving admin loss to MBL, although he won a series in Deathmatch World Cup 2, was controversial. Mm, what else did I do wrong in my life? There has to be more.
I
Maybe the
mean,
chat can remind me.
if that's all your crimes in this world, Nili, I mean, I think you've been leading a good life then. I mean,
There was more. I'm sure there was
yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Mm,
Okay, now it is a long list, but remember, this guy's been around for like 20 years. So,
mm. Hmm. Yeah. I don't
Okay.
remember. Maybe I will come up with more.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all right. But apart from just the controversies themselves, there's also, the learning opportunities that we have and, chances for growth. And so far, a theme that when I spoke to Hera, when I spoke to Debbie, is that, these experiences, did us help you learn a bit more about yourself and people? Would you say it's been like the same for you? Because to be honest with you, you kind of, to me, you just kind of seem like a guy who's just like, I don't got time for all that. I don't care about you, about all that. Just whatever.
Um, the thing is, I'm obviously way older than someone like Hera, right? I
Right.
did work 2 jobs before that. Um, and so like I had to deal with dumb people more than Hera did in his past, for example, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I think I'm a bit more relaxed,
Right.
but obviously, like I couldn't believe, and it got really close to me when I read so much hate that I
Right.
felt was unjustified, um, especially on AOE Zone, and so it got close to me, and like I wouldn't be surprised if NAC ever happened that it won't be posted on AOE Zone or advertised there at all, simply to not feel the need to go there at all.
Right.
So yeah, but it got close to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Nadi, help me out here. You're one of the oldest members of the community. So as a newcomer to the space, AoE Zone seems to be like this infamous mythical space. Like could you like give me some more insight into, I don't even know how to ask this, but how what is it about AoE Zone maybe that has it
And
like
it's
this?
just a huge platform, right? And everything was going on there. It is like the main forum since 2010, I would think.
Yeah,
Run by the father of the Viper, actually, PKZ,
yeah,
and great guy, deserves all the love. He's so helpful, and he grew Age of Empires quite a bit, and is underappreciated for that. And I think it was simply under moderated, and
right,
people could just say whatever they wanted. And I think I'm the guy that is very selective with who I meet,
right.
who I want to have around myself. I could probably have one of the highest ban rates on Twitch, I would think. Like, I have an endless list of people that are banned on my channel simply because I feel like you are not good for my channel and not good for me. See ya. And AOE zone simply is so big and so important for Age of Empires
Mm-hmm.
that kind of for my job I have to check it, right? And so much is going on there. And I did do all the feedback, for example, there. And that's, yeah,
Okay, well that's
simply
actually good
like
insight for
I
me.
felt like I couldn't choose
Right,
to read it.
right. Yeah, that's good insight for me. It was so surprising when I learned that the Viper's father is actually the one who who's in charge of AOE Zone. Because I always see it, they always shit talking the Viper on there. Like, that must be so annoying. Your dad created this great place, and then they always just shit talking you there. It's like, oh man, these people are just it's something else.
Mhm.
Although I haven't yet had any bad experiences myself, because I post the interviews
Mhm.
on AOE Zone, and I mostly just meet the cool characters who are like, oh, this looks nice.
Mhm.
Except when I posted the Debbie interview, I got a bit of there was some strange comments on there, but I didn't interact with any of them. Okay, but moving on from AOE Zone, um, Nili, you're a poker player. Where did this come out from?
Well,
Tell me more about that.
in Age of Empires, kind of stopped having tournaments after 2005. There was the main sponsor, Arbalest, a guy
Right.
from Almaty, Kazakhstan, simply focused on other games. I think he went into Counter-Strike 1.6 mainly, on maybe some other games, hosted Arbalest Cup in different games, also did sponsor WCL, and basically there was no money, no tournaments in Age of Empires. And then there was a poker coaching site basically teaching you how to play, and then they get basically imagine we both play poker. You put $100 in, I put $100 in, and you win the pot. You get not 200 but $195, and the
Okay.
casino takes five. Right, for their service, for providing the table, the software, yada
Right.
yada. Dealers in casinos, and basically that training site got $1 out of those five for training you, kind of, right? So they give you $50, you can play, and yeah, I just continued playing more and more, and got really good at it, right? As I said, I did grind it and did play from 2006 till 2013 or something, I would say, kind of professionally, but
Okay.
didn't make me happy in the long run, and therefore it declined more and more. And
Okay.
nowadays, I couldn't compete with the top players, right? I still did Vegas in
Oh,
2019. I
Nili did
thought about
Vegas.
going this year, but it's overlapping with Age of Empires 4, so yeah, I can't do
Right.
that. I think I've been in Vegas 4 times. Yeah, I traveled quite a bit for poker. Yeah.
So I think Ghost of Yoda, he sent me this clip. He says it's your famous poker clip. I want to play it here for my stream. So I guess your
Okay.
stream will just hear silence for 2 minutes.
We can link it down below. I think it might be copyright problem, so I actually advise you to
Oh,
not play it if you want to
okay.
put it on YouTube. But
Uh,
we can link the stuff under the video.
all
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I'll just
it's
link it.
basically a poker hand that like might be one of the most famous poker hand of all time. It has clearly been viewed over like 50 million times. I've seen multiple Facebook times. Um, yeah, it was basically a 50,000 euro tournament. The pot was worth like 420,000 euros, I believe. And I had at one point like 99.8% to win, but I didn't.
Oh, so you're on the losing end of the one of the world's most famous poker clips. Is that what you're saying?
That's indeed
Uh,
correct. Yeah.
so not only are you one of the most watched AOE 2 figures and Twitch figures, you're also one of the most watched players, but not for a good, not in a good way. Okay.
That one hand, yeah. It's only that one hand. Oh.
Well, I guess that's just how the game goes, all right. Okay. So I guess now we're into the slice of life portion, where we just find out a bit more about you as a non-esports or Twitch figure. You used to be a private school teacher.
Elementary school, yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
what
always had the passion, right? I felt like my teachers are really bad. Then for a small moment, I felt like, okay, let's go
oh
into
no.
educational politics or something
All right.
to do more and better the world. And my
I
mother
like that.
was into like working roughly into politics in very much that direction. And I attended some of her meetings,
All right.
like local parliament, basically. And I absolutely hated it. It's so disrespectful how they
Oh
treated
no.
each other.
All
There
right.
was no. I didn't feel like that those people actually wanted to make change and wanted to make
Right.
stuff better. It was all about politics and who gets reelected. And it's no matter what they said, their own party was clapping, no matter what the other said. They even left the chairs. And I felt like that was felt so wrong that I knew I couldn't go into politics. And then
Okay.
I felt like, okay, let's go to the front line and become a teacher myself.
All right. Well, that's excellent. Teachers are very close to my heart. I worked around youth education myself, more from extracurricular side,
Hmm.
a nonprofit that does like after school work with kids in school. So it's
Hmm.
always good when I connect with people who does like charitable work or teaching. Yeah. And you said you may go back into teaching someday, right?
Yeah, at the moment am considering going to teach in prison,
Oh,
like
okay.
people that couldn't finish their first degree there,
Right.
and try to get them to their first degree. That's something I
Nice.
could see myself doing.
That's pretty interesting. Prison rehabilitation is another interest of mine as well. I haven't actually been able to do
Mhm.
any work in there myself, but it's good to hear that you may be getting into some of it yourself later on. Very commendable. Um, so you're from Germany. Have you always lived in Germany?
Well, Eastern Germany when I was born, but yeah,
Okay,
always Germany. Grew up in Berlin and then
right.
moved to Hamburg to become a professional poker player. Yeah.
Okay. And you haven't always spoken English. As somebody told one of your viewers told me that you may have started around the time where you were streaming, and that streaming had some
No.
influence in you learning. That's incorrect.
Yeah, that had a lot of influence, obviously.
Okay,
Like, but we had English, I believe. I would think in third or fifth grade I started. I think in third grade I started with English.
right.
So I still had it in like 10 years in school, and but I didn't have too. My English wasn't too good.
Okay.
Um, like I even wanted to do like English teaching, but I failed my test. Like my English wasn't good enough to become an English teacher. But then I improved a lot, right? Watching a lot of
Yeah.
series, took some private coaching, and yeah, I'm really open to feedback.
Yeah.
Try to improve a lot. For example, my to-do list right now is I always said serious when I spoke of a set, but I actually want to say serious,
Okay.
like the short. It's yeah. That's my project right now,
Because
like this week,
that's
to improve
interesting,
my
right?
English.
That's interesting because I remember, when we first spoke, it was for the debates that you had with Nelson.
Hmm.
I can tell that you weren't like a native English speaker, so sometimes like you would not understand what I was saying. I thought I was just being dumb, but it turns out you probably just couldn't get understand like some of my words and what I because I got an accent you're probably not familiar with because I'm from Trinidad. Also, probably
Yeah,
I was just
probably.
being dumb sometimes as well. Who knows? Who knows? But I,
Sometimes it's also microphone quality, right?
yeah, but I remember sometimes thinking like, God damn, look at how Nilly's looking at me. Am I just dumb? Am I just what I'm saying? Is that stupid? But okay, all right, we'll move
You're a
right
native
past that.
speaker.
Okay, no, that's fine. It was just a bit funny to me actually. But now that people have said like, oh yeah, he's just, and then I found out about the German Monday, and I was like, oh okay, he speaks German. He's from Germany. That makes sense. Yeah, maybe actually I'm a bit dumb.
Did you think I was a native English speaker?
Listen, man, I'm from the Caribbean. This is the first time I'm meeting Europeans. I'm now getting to know the world,
The grammar is so bad over in Europe. Okay.
And the thing is because I'm from the Caribbean, people from outside really don't understand me anyway. So, for
Okay.
me it's like, well, you know. But anyway, all right, moving on. Do you have any hobbies outside of AOE? Do you play any sports? Do you go kayaking?
And obviously, Corona is kind of changing that a bit, right?
Well,
I love to watch TV series.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay, nice.
um, yeah, sports isn't really something I could do too much. I did fencing for like 10 years.
Fencing.
Yeah, did a lot of sports when I was
That's so
young.
European.
That's yeah, no,
That's
that's not
so.
even like it's very uncommon. Like I don't know a lot of people that are like that I haven't met through fencing that are actually fencing.
Uh,
Seems like they don't fancy that too much.
yeah. Okay, what TV series are you watching? Did you watch Game of Thrones?
I watched Game of Thrones only once. I felt it was a bit overhyped, and I didn't
Yeah.
think the ending was that bad. It was bad, but not that bad. Like unforgivable. They should reshoot it. It was just bad to me.
Yeah.
But obviously, I had like the biggest disappointment of my life was the ending of Lost, and also the last season of Scrubs. So
Ooh, I was a big Scrubs boy myself.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
What
obviously last season was a bit of an
uh,
interesting experiment.
what are you watching and loving right now?
Oof, oof. I'm not, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say what. Like yesterday,
Yeah,
I started, and I'm a bit ashamed of it, but it
yeah,
is
no
great
shame.
entertainment for me.
Yeah, no
Too
shame.
hot to handle. It's
That
like 10 hotties are thrown on an island. They think they're there
oh
for a weekend to party, and then they're not allowed to have sex. And like obviously all like early 20s hornies models, and how they're talking to each other. It's just like, oh god, there's some quotes like the one guy is kissing the other, like, and then the interviewer asks like, why are you kissing her? You know that the other guy has some interest. If you play the level on such a high game, you don't miss
Wow.
any chances. And
I
oh, people like those, and somehow I find this so entertaining. This is the one that
Nili
I'm watching now, but that one will be over in like it only has 8 episodes.
Nili, I watched that. I saw I think the first 5 episodes. And
Okay,
then like
second
what
season now.
happened was the guy's girlfriend had sex with some other guy in like the first day or something. I don't know, it was
Sounds like
traumatic.
that one,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a funny show, yeah. Anyway, we went into a bit of a thing there.
I couldn't believe it. Like when the first like the first one I just binged it in one night, and now the second one I had started this last night. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we're both degenerates. That's all right. Um,
When it comes like favorite comedy is probably It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
ooh, yeah, I like that.
uh, Family Guy. Then we should get into something like Scrubs probably. And when it comes to drama, probably Oz.
Okay, I never seen ours. I
Death.
gotta see it someday.
I think it's genius. Yeah.
Do
Death
you
Note, something I liked. But okay, go ahead.
do you watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah. The thing
Good,
is, I
good
think it is
answer.
overrated as well. But
All
I
right.
think the typical Rick and Morty viewer that thinks he is way more, or like, oh, I get this joke and that's why I have to laugh. Like the jokes are so
All right.
advanced, but they're not always necessarily funny. But
Right.
people try to identify themselves like, oh, I have to laugh now because this is an advanced joke. That's what
Right,
I
right,
feel
right, right.
most people are watching it. Like, I read one quote: 90% of the Rick and Morty viewers think they are. What's the husband's name? Um,
Hospital?
no,
Oh,
no,
Jerry.
the Jerry. They think they're 90% think they're Rick, but they're actually Jerry's.
Oh, thank you for the raid streaming the years. We're here with an interview with Nili, a famous Age of Empires player. We're talking about Rick and Morty, the greatest show ever, or just an okay show, depending on how intelligent you are. I mean, for me personally, he turned himself into a pickle once. That's just the funniest shit I've ever seen. That's about as
But
that's about as
but like
brainy as
that
I get.
this is
Pickle
yeah, and I
Rick.
don't understand how people like tell themselves, okay, it's the most intelligent show of them all, and like the
I'm Pickle
deep
Rick.
um, understanding and like criticism of time and society, and then they print
uh,
T-shirts like a guy
I'm
being
Pickle
in a
Rick.
pickle. And they're enjoying that. I
The
love the
duality of man.
creativity, like how the pickle is then killing the rat and being
Right.
this robot and such. I
Funniest shit I
love
ever
that
seen.
one. But just screaming "I'm a pickle" wasn't the enjoyment for me. Well, but okay, I can see that a lot of people loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, what about movies? Are you into movies as well?
I haven't watched one in quite some time, I have to say.
Oh, I'm a big movie guy
Um,
myself.
okay.
Love me the movies. But it's all right. We'll get our
I think I
differences.
watched like one in the last year, I would think.
What was the one? You gotta tell us the one now.
It's a German one you won't know. It's basically two people getting told that they will die and
Okay.
they don't know when they will die and just enjoying the rest of their life. And suddenly they get money and just randomly spending it, giving it away to other people. And they've never been to the beach and trying to get to the beach. And that's basically the ending scene when they're reaching the beach. And one person actually dies exactly that moment they see the beach.
That sounds pretty good actually.
Yeah.
But it's in
Yeah.
German, so I won't watch it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
like not even that good. Yeah, but
so
I enjoyed it. Like
mm,
I knew exactly. Like it's one of my childhood movies.
yeah. So you're from Germany. What are your favorite foods?
Ooh, I'm not obviously I'm vegetarian, so German
Okay.
cuisine isn't the best one for
Oh
me because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
I've heard that.
meat with meat and potatoes, and as dessert more meat. So I'm more
Right.
into like Italian or Asian cuisine, I would think.
Oh. Oh, I love me some pasta, Nili.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
so do I.
could eat that every single
Mhm.
day. Yeah. All right. What are your favorite places in Germany to go to? Are you,
Mm.
or do you not? You're not very adventurous.
Like the prettiest city I was at was probably Heidelberg.
Right.
But I'm more like probably a city guy.
Right. Right.
So uh, I like Berlin. It is dirty in some areas, like
Right.
or like not like the prettiest thing, but I like the flair. I grew
Okay.
up there. Hamburg is probably a bit like more posh
Right.
and like a bit more upscale in some areas. Um, but yeah, it's like I wouldn't go to Germany to visit places probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've done quite a bit of traveling. How many countries have you visited?
I think 48 or something last time I counted.
Oh, wow. That's some extensive traveling actually. Any favorite
Yeah.
places?
Barcelona is my favorite city.
Okay,
Most
excellent.
interesting place I've ever been was North Korea.
Oh,
um,
wait, North Korea? Wait, hold up, hold up.
North
Wait, wait,
Korea.
wait, 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 wait. Let's take a pause right there. You can't just say, yeah, North Korea and then move on. You gotta tell us about how did you end up in North Korea, Nelly?
Well, with by plane, I have a 2 hour show, like a 2 hour YouTube video me talking about my North Korea trip, and I'm showing pictures and videos. So basically, it's like it was 2012, and I love like math
Right.
choreographies. So like, and there's like Ari Run games, they're called, where like 40, 50,000 people are all waving at the same time, and if they don't wave in time, they get executed. Love that. And basically, I wanted to see that, and it's exactly the 100th birthday of the great leader, and basically, I wanted to be in that stadium to see that mass choreography, and that's why
And
I went
and
there. And I also felt like 2012, I didn't know how stable it was, and I felt like, okay, not likely that you can still go there in 5 years.
did you have to do the hand thing too?
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh,
They're practicing for like in a 1 hour choreography for like 1 year.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. That is crazy.
You can
Okay.
maybe Ari Run Games. I can. Where do I send that to you? Probably in here. Yeah,
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 this is
yeah,
good. Okay, I'll check that out after.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
end up on a bunch of watch lists from the FBI and CIA, but that's all right.
No, 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 no.
Um, okay, so you were saying about the other places that you visited that you found were interesting or noteworthy.
Well, obviously, as I said, I traveled a lot, right?
Yeah, you've traveled a lot. 48. That's pretty good, Nili. I was actually talking
Mm,
to before the stream. I was in a business call with an executive, and they would tell me, they've been to like 40 countries, and I
mm,
think like even in the business world so far I've spoken to, that's a pretty decent number, So I mean,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
definitely been out there. That's pretty good. Have you ever
yeah.
been to the Caribbean?
I've been to Cuba,
Okay,
Dominic Republic,
okay,
Saint Martin,
okay. All right.
Bahamas,
Whoa, whoa, whoa! You've been to more the Caribbean than me.
and that's it.
Wow, that's okay. So you're the first AOE person I've spoken to that's actually been down here. Did you? I mean, you didn't include any noteworthy places, but whatever. Did you have a good time? I hope you had a good time.
Bahamas was horrible.
Oh no,
St. Martin was
we don't
crazily
claim the
beautiful.
Bahamas. We don't claim the Bahamas. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
but
kidding.
Bahamas was mainly like I was there to play a poker tournament,
All
and
right.
the hotel was horrible. Everything was super
Uh,
expensive.
yeah,
The
it's
poker games weren't even that juicy. So yeah,
uh.
so the main goal didn't really work out for me.
I mean,
Yeah,
Cuba. People like Cuba. You had a good time in
yeah.
Cuba.
Cuba is really nice. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, good, good. I'm glad to hear that.
yeah.
All right, and no Trinidad and Tobago, I'm guessing.
Again?
No Trinidad and Tobago, I'm guessing.
No Trinidad and Tobago yet. No.
What we're gonna do? Maybe someday. Don't worry about it. When you reach to like the 60th country, I mean, we gotta be on the list at some point. You're gonna run out of
Uh,
places.
yeah. At some point, I've actually done very little like Eastern Europe. So I think like
Okay.
one road trip, one train trip, and I could cross off like 8 more countries.
Oh wow.
So that would be an easy one. I wanted
That's
to
amazing.
go higher
Oh
there.
yeah, I forget. You're in Europe. You guys could just drive around to like 50 different countries.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I'm on an island. I don't have that kind of luxury.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I think I want to get into the audience questions now.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the viewers on Nili stream, if you do have a question, you can come to
Go.
my
No, no, no. We
stream.
only do exactly. Yeah, only your stream questions are allowed.
Yeah, so you have to come on my stream and tag me at Franco and then ask the question. I have some questions here from Reddit, AOE Zone, Facebook, and the Age of Empires forums. People in the chat, in my chat right now, you can feel free to tag me. I'll just give a demonstration. At Franco, what is Nili's favorite color? That will be the first question.
Red.
Ah, Nili! Bro, that's my favorite color too since I was a kid. I mean, it's a popular color, of course, so I mean, I guess
I
that's
think
not
so as
very
well. Yeah.
special yet.
Mm.
Okay, anyway. Okay. All right, so the first question here from JMac9499. Ask him what makes MBL so good. I don't know. Why you would
Ah,
know that?
yeah. Okay, that's a troll question.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a troll question.
I,
All
I,
right.
yeah, I did Twitter exactly that question like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, and I didn't get a satisfying answer.
Okay. Um, Ari Paul on Reddit asked, oh no, this is a suggestion. No. Right. Leo Kale. Jesus, these names, man. This, which player so far has surprised you the most with their strategy?
In the history of Age of Empires, or what?
I maybe limited to the last 2 years, maybe since we figured out the meta, who's come out of left field with something interesting.
So then the most exciting strategy in the last 2 years.
Perhaps nobody's done anything interesting in 2 years. I
Well, there are a lot of interesting things, but like the game has been out for 19 before, right? So it kind of has to be something new. Hmm. Yeah, Huang Rush existed years earlier. Oh, that's not easy. Hmm. Obviously, let's just say fast invent of Victoria.
Pass into
Makes
Victoria.
it
Okay, that's
makes
a
it
good
easy.
answer.
Makes
Yeah.
it easy. Yeah.
Actually, before I get into the next question, we didn't cover, your Red Bull, your experience on Red Bull Wololo, which just concluded like 2, 3 days ago. So perhaps, I think I was talking to somebody and they told me you were actually instrumental in getting that whole event to happen in the first place from even Red Bull Wololo 1. Maybe you could talk to us about, how that came to be.
So after NIC 3 happened, I got contacted by a person that said, "Yeah, we want to do a big Age of Empires tournament and even want to do an offline event." That obviously was before people took the pandemic seriously. And so, like January 2020. And they didn't even tell me what company. And I had like 3 meetings of they wanted to do the big like offline tournament and how much money they had, and they never told me who it was. And they said like, yeah, they want a special design and something, and I presented them everything. And only in the third meeting, actually someone joined and said like, yeah, by the way, it's Red Bull. And I was like,
Oh,
hello.
hell.
Okay, so I've been planning for Red Bull here. Okay, okay. And I knew basically the middle company, which is Take TV, right?
Right.
So I knew that it was legit. And yeah, then basically I advised them on the game format, on what the streams. I gave them a list of all streamers, the format. I did give the contact for the map designer and yada yada. And yeah, I think I see myself very responsible for how Red Bull in the end turned out.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly sounds so. Congratulations on that, and thanks, for taking the AOE 2 scene a bit further into the mainstream. That's
Maybe someone else would have pushed it further if
uh,
we would have stayed with Random Map instead of Empire Wars, for example.
that's fine. That's fine. It is what it is. We don't gotta speculate about that. And so you've been hosting since Red Bull Wololo 1, right? As a caster and host.
Casting, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What has that experience been like for you personally?
Mm, well, obviously, I like the professionalism, right? Different channel, lots of viewers.
Right.
T90 and Dave are a bit different as well. Um, they are a bit more intense, I would say. And yeah, I've been really enjoying it. And now with 4, obviously, that's obviously now a different step, right? With Mamp in the studio, completely different experience, and yeah, just felt more into the direction before the
Right.
pandemic.
Okay. Well, that's excellent. Has it given you any thought about just doing casting for esports in general? Like, has it like made you think, yeah, maybe this could be a future career move? Or has it not had that and persuasion over you?
What do you mean?
Well, you've been casting with one of those companies that does professional casting for all sorts of esports games.
Mhm.
Has that have you thinking, well, perhaps you could go on to cast other games? Because I know we kind of touched on this earlier. Has that
Yeah. That wouldn't be an option for me at all.
okay,
Like
yeah.
there is no one that can cast a soccer game and a basketball game.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't have the experience. You wouldn't know
Right.
the players. Like me jumping into a different game, I think I could do a bit of play by play on something like StarCraft or Warcraft, but I
Right.
could never be a color commentator for any other game than Age of Empires.
Okay, understood. And do you have any future plans with Red Bull Wololo? Is it
Well, Red Bull 5 was teased, right?
okay, yeah.
So I'm planning with that one.
All right, excellent. Okay, any so other than Red Bull Wololo, are there any other big Nili tournament moves that you've been thinking about on the horizon or anything that you see coming up?
Well, thinking about NAC4 basically since NAC3 ended, right?
Right,
But pandemic blocking, now no idea how Age of Empires 4 is going to be.
right.
Um, I thought about squeezing it in before H4, but that's not going to happen. So yeah,
Okay, yeah.
nothing specific yet.
Okay, yeah. So actually, that leads us into the next audience question. Two underscores from Reddit had asked if there will be another NAC, but you just answered that. And he
I made a
also,
YouTube video about that a week ago as well. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, his question was 8 days ago, so they probably missed it.
Ah, missed it, missed
Yeah.
it.
And they had another question. How is the player climb to the top going?
Not good, not good. Right?
Oh no.
Too much other stuff going on. Like
Right.
I'm getting better, but others are getting better as well.
It always
Like
sucks when
relatively to
yeah,
my population, not making a lot of progress. I had some good wins against top players even,
right.
but it feels so far away from the top.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
how you feel, man. Sometimes I think, yeah, I'm getting better this game. Then everybody I knew is 100 elo higher. Like everybody is getting better too. Why can't you guys just slow down? Anyway, um,
Yeah, there is simply elo inflation, right? You shouldn't measure yourself at elo, in my opinion.
uh, easy for you to say Mr. Top 50. Okay, I'm just kidding.
I think no
And
one should think
yeah,
about elo in like, oh, I reached another peak.
right.
That's how I think.
Yeah, I mean it's good advice. People should definitely listen to that. Two underscores from it has another question. Is the golden era of AoE finished? No, is this the golden era of AoE?
Tough to say, right? It is the biggest, like the era with most viewers we
Right.
ever had, and I'm not sure player wise. Maybe the biggest as well. And obviously, we don't know what the future brings.
Right, right. And Leo Kill asks, do you think Britons counter Vikings in Red Bull Wololo settings? That's very specific.
Yeah, not really. I think they will do okay against Vikings, but I think if you go enough skirms, your economy should be good enough with Vikings. And then with siege rams, I think early in will be really tough for Britons.
Right. Um, Magnolia, fellow Age of Empires streamer, she asks, well, what is your proudest win in a tourney? Well, you mentioned it before. Maybe you could just briefly
Mhm.
say it again. I think it,
World Clan League 4 semifinals Tsunami against CSI.
right.
The 3-2 win there.
Okay, very nice. Um, what are your short-term goals for both playing and streaming and long-term goals?
A short term goal for Streaming, I don't really have any.
Right.
Um, just enjoying my streams. Short-term goal for playing, getting better. Long-term goal for streaming, enjoying myself, and that's kind of it, honestly.
Right. Right. Okay, that's good.
And long-term goal for playing top 16 in a major tournament,
Yeah.
or something like winning something like Visible Cup.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
something in that
Uh,
ballpark.
and they had also asked if you think you'll stream Age of Empires 4, but I think you said yes to that already, right? Did you
Streaming
s-
Age of Empires 4? Yeah. Very
Okay.
likely that I will give it a good shot at the start. Yeah.
Rub Along from Reddit asked, what do you think of T90's stash? The mustache? T90?
Next question.
Okay, so moving on to questions from AOE Zone. Do you still eat banana pizza?
Next question.
Okay. Um,
No. My favorite banana pizza place doesn't serve banana pizza anymore. But
okay.
yeah, the last time I made pizza for myself, it was banana pizza with cinnamon and honey.
Do you still use banana for scaling?
Yes. Also, where's my banana? Yeah, I still use banana for scaling. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Helda from AOE Zone asked, what are your objectives as a top player and will you still focus on that side of AOE for now? I think maybe you kind of answered
Yes.
this.
It's kind of full try harding right now
Right,
till I will cast again.
right.
Yeah.
And they also ask, is it realistic to do a NSC in a big room with audience when COVID is done?
Well, it wouldn't be NAC then, right? I think NAC rather stays NAC plus meet and greet.
Right,
Um, like the full event with an offline audience, just even more work that I wouldn't do. I'm pretty sure over the next 2 years we will have multiple Age of Empires 2 or 4 events with a live audience.
okay. And KOA Master asked, Melee Zone, how did
Well, Master, like another guy that I know since 2003 or
Oh,
something.
excellent. How did your family members react when you told them you were a full-time streamer caster instead of a teacher?
Well, the thing is, I was a poker pro before, right? So
Right.
for them, being a streamer, like it can only be better than being gambling for thousands of euros on a daily
Okay.
basis.
Okay.
So they have a lot of trust in me. Obviously, all the old people don't understand what I'm doing. Like,
Of course not.
what? You're saying something how other people are playing computer games and they pay you. Like, they obviously don't have a real understanding for that. But yeah, then I always go like, oh, just imagine soccer and TV and how the guy is saying something there and they're trying to make it entertaining, and that's basically my job.
Right.
And then they still don't understand, but they say, okay.
Right. And they also ask, what are the changes in AoE 2 for you as a streamer caster in the last 5 years that has had the biggest impact?
Mm. Ooh, the one single biggest impact. Probably capture age, I would think.
Okay.
Huh.
It's pretty good. Shout out to Abducted Platypus and the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's like having capture age for Woobly was just mind blowing, and then having it for DE obviously felt a bit standard, but it's still like so much better than the normal game. Yeah.
Right. And I'm moving on to Facebook questions now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Nick Stevenson from the AOE2 Facebook group asks, what direction do you see big AOE2 teams going in the near future?
Well, I think I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that. Okay, let's try to focus on what I'm allowed to say. I think there
Okay.
will be more teams in the future. I think there will be lots of top players getting contract offers.
Right.
And I think, especially when there are big team game tournaments around again, um, I wouldn't be surprised if, especially when H4 comes out, other brands such as like on the scale of Secret try to get a part of the cake.
Right. Okay. And Nick Stevenson also asked, do you think the same top 3, 4 players will continue to, oh no, he's asking about teams. Do you think the same 3, 4 teams will continue to dominate, or will you be seeing new teams starting to compete at the highest levels?
Sorry, I was distracted by someone saying something wrong on
That's
my Twitch channel.
that's
Say
all right. I'll
what again?
repeat. Nick Stevenson asked, do you think the same 3 to 4 teams will continue to dominate, or do you think you'll see new teams coming in the scene and performing at the highest levels?
The problem is, like, yeah, you have to break something up, right? So AM had to break up to form Tempo. It's pretty similar there.
Right.
And let's assume there's an Battle of Africa. I wouldn't be surprised if Tempo is adding MBL or Nikov or Hart for that team again, right? To form a 3-3 team. So it's basically only under a new name. And well, we have something like My Insanity joining, right? But there aren't so many free top players that you can still grab. So how
Right.
can you have a team that could compete in the top 4 right now? You have to break something up, and then you have to go for like massive money investment to buy. Like if
Right.
you want to buy the Viper out of GL, you have to take some money into your hands, I believe.
Okay. And last question from Nick Stevenson from Facebook. Outside of the top 30 to 50 players on the ladder right now, do you see any players up and coming who will make it into the top 10, 20? Well, you're in the top 50. You can't.
Not on the ladder.
Yeah.
I think in skill, yes, but not on the ladder. Well, the player with the most potential that has not shown up in tournaments yet is probably Bling
Okay.
right now. Also, I think Dark has some potential,
Right.
although I felt like his timing window already should have been
Right.
happening. I think Running is a guy who has potential for a top 20 performance in something. Yeah, those are 3 names I will throw in.
Right. Okay. Okay. Moving on to the Age of Empire. Oh, we haven't even reached the freaking Twitch chat yet, but I gotta give some priority to the people who asked in advance.
Yeah, makes sense.
Alpha Creator 727. Um, what was it like to co-cast with Mem? And they said you guys were amazing, by the way.
Well, it's like he has so much passion for the game, right? And he really drags you into the game. It's like if I sometimes cast with someone else, it's sometimes I zone out and just say whatever, and and I pray that it makes sense. This one is just so intense, right? We're next to each other. Memp is touching the screen, showing me stuff while I'm trying to say something. Then he grabs my arm because there was a Mangonel shot going on, and it's just so much more intense, and the passion really flows, and that is
Yeah.
just so enjoyable.
He sounds so much fun. Yeah, I gotta talk to Mem one of these days as well. Another very interesting figure in the AOE community. Let's see. Reading through some of his questions here, see if there's anything he wouldn't answer before. And they ask, what do you think of the performance of Vinchester and the Viper in Red Bull Wololo 4?
Well, it felt like Viper before meeting Hera, pretty solid on course to win,
Hmm.
or like to have his 25%. the set against Hera felt like he didn't want to play meta, tried to outsmart, tried to come up with crazy strategies, and died to Eagles twice. And that with Chinese and Koreans, which I don't consider top 10 civilizations. So it felt really weird. And Winchester, well, we always knew that he had it in him to have a
Right.
top 4 performance, right? Master of Arabia, he got second. And yeah, so those settings are really good for him. And yeah,
Okay.
I'm happy.
All right. Excellent. And let's see. Robot Room from the Age of Empires official forums asks, if you could wish the developers change one thing about the game, what would that be?
Punish alt F4ing or giving another option.
Right.
I think it's something I didn't think of before, but why aren't we allowing more? Like, I know why, but I think that's how it should be. That you just have more access, like more bans, and just ban everything except Arabia. You get a warning. You have banned how many are it now? 7. You have banned 6 out of 7 maps. This will end up in longer queue times,
Right.
and then you click
Okay.
OK, but you
Okay.
only play get Arabia, and then no one out of force. I think you get worse matches, like skill wise, but you always get something that you don't force into all the foring.
Okay. Interesting. Um,
Doesn't work though, but that's how it should work, in my opinion.
Robot Room again asks, what is your favorite Civ and why?
Malay, because they play so differently.
Okay, excellent. The last question for them. Over the years, as you've gotten better as a player, what things did you learn that were significant breakthroughs for you?
Playing meta instead of trying to outsmart the opponent is winning Age of Empires.
All right. Okay.
Killing a villager but having idle TC for 50 seconds actually means you lost a villager.
That's a
Mm,
big brain. That's a big brain take right there. Okay.
mm,
And now to I mean, how are we on time, by the way, Nelly? For you, I don't know what. We're good?
I'm fine. I'm
All right,
fine.
all right,
Yeah.
excellent, great. Let's get it. So let's go. So we're going through some of the Twitch questions now. Cole AOE ask, um, are you into music?
I'm a big concert goer.
Ooh,
I've
okay.
been to so many concerts. I listen to rock metal, but that is
Nice.
pretty bad for dancing when it comes to like going to the club. So I started adjusting and now listen also to some electro and mainly drum and bass.
Look at you,
Really
Nelly.
like drum and bass.
Okay, okay. What, like any standout concerts that you've been to?
Hmm. Rage Against the Machine was pretty good.
Ooh, yay.
Been
Uh,
to System of a Down 3 times.
So lucky.
Negative standout was probably Red Hot Chili Peppers. That
Oh
was really
no.
bad.
Oh no.
Mm, yeah, like my first ever concert was Disturbed, and like
Right.
one of my goosebump moments in my life. Yeah, it was like they have a song called "Down with the Sickness,"
Yeah, we're
um,
going down with the sickness. Da-da-da-da. We're going down with
and
the sickness.
it has a sick drum intro. Pa-pa-pa-pa-pum, pa-pa-ta-pa-pum, pa-pa-pa-ta-tum, pa-pa-ta-pa-pum, pa-pa-ta-ta-pum, pa-pa-ta-pa-pum.
Oh yeah,
And
that's the
in
good
the
stuff.
song, then they start shouting, and the song starts. But in that start of the first song, they just constantly looped up that drum solo intro
Right.
and got a tiny bit faster every single time. Pa-pa-ta-pa-pum, pa-pa-ta-pa-tum, pa-pa-ta-pa-tum, pa-pa-pa-pum. And it exactly. That's how it starts. But it never came. It never came. And like the tension was so sick. And finally, they started shouting, and the room completely exploded. And that was probably still my best concert moment ever.
That's excellent. So the sucky thing about being in the Caribbean is, nobody ever comes down here for concerts
Yeah,
because the
yeah,
population is so small. It's never lucrative enough.
yeah.
Anyway,
At
and
least Hamilton is there, right? The musical around the corner. You don't know the
Hamilton,
musical Hamilton?
I know the musical. They
Okay,
never came down here. They never come down.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
Not that I
sure.
would be able to afford
Puerto
a
Rico.
Hamilton ticket.
I thought, yeah. I
Puerto
thought
Rico,
because
you know how far I'm from Puerto Rico, man. Pretty far from
okay,
Puerto Rico.
okay,
It's
sorry.
okay.
I
It's
thought
a
Puerto Rico is also Caribbean, no?
kind. I mean, it's a U.S. state. We don't really consider
Okay,
them.
okay. Then I
Yeah,
was wrong.
it's all right. It's all right. Um, Tishk asked, not a question for Nili, but for you, Franco. Why are you so nice? Oh, that's okay. Nili, you have to answer that. Why am I so nice, Nili?
Mm,
I'm just kidding. You
I
don't have
would
to.
assume loving parents.
Okay. Well, off the mark, but that's all right. I'm
Okay.
sure my parents
Y-
appreciate the good faith that you have in them. All right. So, next question from Big Molo. If Nili had to choose one AoE personality to face off against in a YouTube boxing match for $100,000, who would it be?
What? Like boxing match
Yeah,
of
it's a thing.
whom? No. I know the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
who can I choose? Any Age of Empires personality?
Any AoE. Who you wanna beat up in that ring?
Uh,
Naburu for the Naburu
who's
Rush? That would be my
tiny,
vote.
tiny? Who's the tiniest girl that we have?
Oh my God. I mean,
Um,
I'm not
if I can
sure.
freely choose,
Yeah.
Mish, Stella Mish, easy
Okay,
choice.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, isn't she like 100 pounds?
Yeah, yeah. She's probably close to my size. Yeah, that's an easy clap.
Yeah, I'll probably choose her then.
Okay. All right.
125 pounds. Okay.
And Debbie asked, who's your favorite dog and why is it Justice?
It's not Justice. Sorry, it's
Oh,
Logan, the
who's
dog
the
of Grubby.
okay. Oh, Debbie. Yeah, those are fighting words. Those are fighting words.
Sorry.
We just started an international feud. Oh wait, a national feud because she lives in Germany. Okay, Papa Karomu asked, can you tell a story about the time you thought you would die the next day? He was previously said in a 24 live hour stream. So apparently, did
Hmm.
you get that?
Like I told a story once where I was like having a good shot of dying, but that was the same day. Mm, hmm. The next day? Hmm. I don't know. Like I can give you like how long should I elaborate on that story?
Well, I don't got much time left, so we probably can't get to
Okay.
that today. Okay.
Okay.
Noob Master asked, what's your favorite beer?
Favorite B
Uh,
BEER?
yeah, if you drink, that
Okay.
is. I guess you're German, so
Pilsner
let's assume.
Urquell, Heineken. Yeah, let's say those two.
Okay. I don't know anything about beer, so I'm gonna assume they're good. Um, Emperor Emperator 1988 asks, "What's your favorite unit and why?"
Wombat Cannon. I
Oh,
love them. This massive damage from distance. Have to sit them. Yeah, kind of like them. Winning trap wars. Good comeback units.
okay, okay. Um, let's see. Zanzibari asks, "What was Nelly's favorite AoE 2 moment in the last 2 years?"
My best AoE moment in the last few years.
Not your favorite.
My
Something you
favorite.
saw.
Not as a player, right?
No,
So
just
in
anything you
total,
saw. Yeah, a highlight of a game or something that was cool.
mm, well, if it's my playing, then me against Jibatong, ECL. Oh no,
Right.
that's longer than 2 years ago.
It
That's
doesn't
longer than two
matter.
years ago.
It's okay.
Okay, like it was a game where I was losing on Registered Fortress, and I got the King Snipe in a losing game in a like
Oh,
major Microsoft tournament. Lots of eyes on me,
that
and
sounds good.
yeah, that was a sweet one.
That does sound good
Yeah,
actually. All right.
yeah.
Caddy85 Matt asks, do you have any tattoos? And if so, where?
No,
Okay,
no tattoos. I kind of like tattoos, but I wouldn't know on which one I would commit necessarily.
right.
Yeah.
Um, held held PT asks, is there a particular format or tournament that can put a final answer on who is the best AoE 2 player?
No.
No. Okay.
It doesn't, like, that's not how tournaments work. And I think it's ridiculous how people think, oh, a person won one tournament and that person is now the best.
Right.
It is one tournament, right? Do you like, especially if we go for single elimination, like Viper could have been the best player in the world during Hidden Cup,
Right.
and he got in the semifinals and Hera won. It was a coin flip set there against Hera. Also, Hera Lyri could have won Red Bull 4.
Yeah, it's
He
pretty
could have,
close.
maybe Hera could have won Red Bull 3. There's so much going on. Um, doesn't make a lot of sense to think that one tournament, like, we could. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay. And Debrija asks, do you think there are too many European civilizations?
Well, Age of Empires is a medieval game, and I would think most of, like, at least like written history and development and progress happened in Europe, right? Like,
Right.
how many North American civilizations could you get in the time frame from 500 to 1500? So I think it kind of makes sense,
Right. Yeah,
but
that's a pretty good
I'm
answer.
I'm I'm obviously no historian, so.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen a lot of people. I've seen this question before, but I haven't seen most people like suggest that. That is true. That time period was pretty dominated by European law, especially in the weaponry, right?
Mm.
Okay. And let's see. I say European
Yeah,
law.
Riley
I
is
meant
probably a
European
good one to
history.
ask.
Oh, that'd be a good question. I did reach out to interview Riley, so maybe
Mm-hmm.
I can pick his brain on that.
Yeah.
Hell's Vogue 5. What is your vision of an AoE tournament and ranking? I'm not sure exactly what the question is there. What's your vision of the AoE 2 tournament and ranking? Maybe the best version they want to ask?
Well, an offline tournament in someone's apartment while everyone is having a good time and mix casters and players. Sounds
Okay.
like a great idea.
I think your your apartment cup happened before I started playing. I started playing
Possibly.
last year, so I'm guessing that's a reference to that. I'm
That's
not
a
okay.
reference. Yeah.
Okay, well, I wasn't exactly sure. Let's see. More questions about NAC, but we answered that. Oh, OG Virtuoso asked, that's a nice name, by the way. What is your experience in other Age of Empires games? Age of Empires 1, 3, and Mythology. Well, you answered about 1 already. What about 3 and Mythology?
Mythology, I tryharded for like a month
Right?
and then kind of lost interest. Um, I don't really know why. There were simply too few people really moving over it. And Age of Empires 3, when it came out, was completely broken, right? Actually, doubt made me quit Age of Empires 3. Like,
Wow.
I was training every single day, like for 5 hours. And basically, it's a bit of a card game part of it, where you basically the more you play, the better, the more resources you get from your home city.
Right.
I was simply playing against Stout. He was playing 10 hours a day, and I get 300 food from my hometown. He gets 600 food from his hometown.
Oh.
And I thought, like, okay, as long as I'm going to school, I can't do that. And
Oh.
even told my father that story. And I said, like, yeah, I can't compete in this game. I can only train for 5 hours. And then he was like, yeah, the others are playing for 10 hours or what? And I said, yes. And then I quit age
And
three.
then that's the funniest thing I've heard all month. That would make you quit AOE 3 because you just play in too many hours.
No.
I gotta take a moment to compose myself. Oh man, this dog, I gotta interview this dog guy. Anyway, Adam AOE asks, do you think spring will ever be top 10?
Ring.
Yeah,
No.
spring. Okay, ooh, okay. Pretty straightforward answer. And Liverpool FC Gamer asks, how do you feel about the viewership for Red Bull Wololo 4?
Solid, right? It was during LCS and Euros, and they had a bit over 40K. So, yeah, roughly what they expected and wanted.
And Lego Fast asks, did we actually increase viewership from the last Red Bull Wololo, by the way? Numbers
I
wise?
think that was more around 50, but yeah.
Okay. And Lego Fast asks, how do you feel about mods, like the tower range mods in the game? Like mods of that, contested mods of that nature.
Tricky. I get that asked often, and I don't really have a good answer.
Okay.
It feels like a bit wrong, but I couldn't really tell you where the line is
Right.
and where I think like grid mod is allowed, but range mod is not allowed because effectively it's not giving you more information than you
Right.
actually have, right?
Yeah.
You can count tiles and see how far the tower can shoot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it looks ugly, but obviously out of competitive standpoint, I think I allow it unless maybe I would do something like sign up for a tournament, and if more than 95% of all competitors are against it, then forbid it.
Okay.
Something in that
That's
is
interesting.
something we could go for.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
but if 10% want to do it, then it's tricky.
Debbie asks, do you still like to remember when you shaved MBL's head? What? No idea what that's about.
Um, yeah, um, we had a meeting with like 40 people in Italy. We rented like something a bit like a ruin hostel hotel thingy. Let's say a building
Sounds
in
sus.
Italy, and yeah, obviously some drinks were flying around, and a villa. Let's call it a villa then. And Viper said he will give MBL $100
Oh
if
no.
he will shave his head, but then Viper didn't want to go through, and
Uh,
then he said like, okay, I can execute it, and then people went really wild, and like 5 people were filming it, and I didn't go for the clean shave, right? I started some here, then some there, and then a hole at the top, and just left it at that. And that was, in theory, funny, and lots of people enjoyed it. But his girlfriend then got really mad and got really mad at me, and
oh
that kind of
no.
killed the mood for me.
I
And
can
therefore, I
imagine.
have kind of bad, like, yeah, a bad feeling considering that story.
Okay, okay, all right. I mean, it started funny, but then ended on a little down note there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she's gonna have to look at him every day, you know. I suppose what was going through her
yeah.
head. Yeah. Okay. So the last question I'll take, just for time's sake, from Canuck Send DC2 something. Would GL ever consider adding more players?
Depends on the reason, right? I wouldn't know why, and I wouldn't know who.
Okay,
I can't rule it out. Like, let's say I go completely into streaming,
right.
then yes. If they want a full European team to train better time wise, then yet. Yes. Maybe if they want 3 people German squad in there, right? To have like GL International, GL Germany or something, then yes. But like right now, I don't think they're searching.
Okay, okay. Understood. And the last thing I have on the agenda, I have a little mini game. I don't know if you've seen it
Mini
before.
game.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
great.
yeah, the quick one. Nice, nice. I like the quick one. I will be more decisive than Debbie.
Yeah, yeah. Debbie, we see you in the chat. You know, I don't know if it was like a German thing, taking 10 hours to answer one question.
I will try to stick to the name.
All right, let's go. Let's go. You ready, Nili?
I'm ready.
All right, okay. Remove one Civ from the game.
Humans.
Remove one unique unit from the game.
Turtle ships.
What's your favorite Civ?
Malay.
Trebuchets or catapults?
Mangonels?
Would you rather fight one angry large boar or 10 angry goats?
10 angry goats.
Favorite pro player?
Tato.
Favorite streamer?
Grubby.
Burgundians or Sicilians?
Burgundians.
Age of Empires 1 or Age of Empires 3?
1.
Reddit or AOE Zone?
Reddit.
Joan of Arc? Yeah? Yeah?
Is that a question?
Joan of Arc? Blue or cyan?
What?
Blue or cyan?
Cyan.
Okay, who is hotter between a Huskarl and an Eagle Warrior?
Haskell.
Okay. Kill, marry, smash. You familiar with the concept?
What is Smash?
Well, I can't say that on
Okay, I understand.
Twitch.
Okay,
Yeah.
kill,
Kill,
marry,
marry,
smash.
smash, right? War Wagon, Loom, and Aztec Monk. Yeah.
Aztec Monk, kill,
Okay.
marry Warwagon, smash Loom.
Okay, there we go. DM or Empire Wars?
Empire Wars.
Nerf Franks?
No,
No. Yeah. Regular Nomad or Land Nomad?
neither.
Okay. Age of Mythology or Age of Empires 3?
Mythology.
StarCraft or Command and Conquer?
StarCraft.
Okay. Halo or Call of Duty?
Neither.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
don't
there we
know.
go.
Halo has a nice soundtrack, but
You won the
I
game.
played neither game.
Or
I
you lost
won
the
the game.
game. Yeah, or lost, depending on how you look at it. It's very relative.
What?
Yeah. And you
Okay.
fumbled with the Joan of Arc, so any Joan of Arc fans
What
out
was
there,
that?
Joan of Arc, what do you mean? What was
Is
that?
that a question?
Joan of Arc.
A question is a real sentence and has to include a verb. Joan of Arc doesn't include a verb,
Yeah, but it's Joan
so
of
it
Arc,
can't be a question.
Okay. See, that's why you lost to some people. That kind of loser
How did I
attitude.
lose?
That sort of loser attitude, Nili. That's why you lost to some people. But you're a winner to me. You don't worry. You won to
Okay.
Franco, and that's all that matters. Don't you worry about a thing. All right. Okay. Well, Nilly, thank you very much for joining me here today. It's been a lot of fun, except for that one Joan of Arc mixed up. Other than that, it's we had I had like a lovely time.
What is the goal of that? Of that not question?
What do
Of
you
that
mean, Joe? Who
word?
doesn't like Joan of Arc? You
So
like
the
Joan of-
question is, do I like Joan of
That
Arc?
was not the question. The question was Joan of Arc.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's just how it is. All right, but let's not focus too much on the mini game. We've been here for like 2 hours. We had a great interview. We had some
Yeah.
great moments. We had fun. We learned a lot. We learned about your journey as a streamer, as a player, a bit more about Nilly at home, personal Nilly. So I thank you very much for joining us here today, and thank you for the lovely Hippo Army, for being a part of this as well. You all appreciate it, everyone in the chat, Reddit, AOE Zone, Facebook, and the Age of Empires forums for asking the questions that we enjoy getting answers to. And Nelly, I'm sure I'll have you on some other time. I got some more stuff coming up, more debates, and even some more roundtables, which are not necessarily debates, but more, just discussions about the game.
Laming.
Yes, and we have the exact same
Okay.
opinion on naming, so that's good. All right. So that's it. Thank you, Nelly, and take care.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to exit the call now. Oh, by the way, any small upcoming streamer you want us to rate? I like to do a little rate at the end. You could pick.
My goal, what I always do is the lowest one, like lowest viewer count that has a webcam
Okay,
and doesn't have follower only chat.
I will look for the lowest viewer count. Follow only. All right, that doesn't
Not
have.
no follower only chat and webcam.
All right, I'll go check that out. So thank you, Nelly,
Yeah.
and have a good day. Take care. Thank you for the interview.
You too.
All
See
right,
ya.
bye.